Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Miami Season 7, Episode number 9. This one is called Preppy Petty People. I think that's a perfect title for this.
It is, and it's a play on that REM song, Happy.
I know what you're talking about.
You know the song.
Something people.
Yeah, because as I was
Smiling?
reading the
Is it
title, I was like singing it in my head.
Is it smiling people?
Happy, smiling people. I don't know.
I
Something.
don't know. Something is
I'm
wrong
sure
with
one of
us.
our listeners will remember. Put it in the comments.
Yeah, speaking of which, we got 15,000 followers on Facebook.
That's
so
amazing.
pretty impressive. If we could get our listeners to subscribe to us on YouTube and anywhere you listen to your podcast so you don't miss any of our episodes, that would be great. So please hit subscribe. Okay?
Yes, please subscribe.
So we start out with Adriana. This was the weirdest freaking thing. Takes her dog for a dog date. She wants him
Oh
to,
my God.
in her words, have a trip to paradise before he gets clip. I was like,
My God.
oh my God, that's exactly what I thought. So Lisa meets her there and she's like, she's never even heard of this doggy brothel thing. I mean,
Doggy
I
brothel.
never did either. But to me, that was the strangest thing I've ever seen. I don't know.
I've never seen anything like that. I did not think that was a thing. Do we know if it actually is a thing, or was this like,
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't think that that's exactly what that place was for. I think that that's just a place for like an indoor dog. I don't know. I can't
That's
imagine
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that I don't think this is a purposeful place for that. I think it was, like you said, like an indoor dog run or
But
something.
yeah. Yeah.
Adriana
Turned it into
worked
something
it out.
else.
But
So
it was very funny.
it was funny. I was like, I mean,
Yep.
her dog is so cute. And that she had the dog with her on Watch What Happens Live too.
She did?
Yeah. It's the dog is the name of, it's an artist name. Is it Basquiat?
Is it Basquiat?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the name of her dog.
Oh, that's who tested her mural of it, Brick
I
Memorial,
know.
before she graduated.
I know. That's why yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so they're talking about the preppy party and what to wear. Adriana said she didn't feel like she was exactly invited. Like it went to the group message, but since it was Marisol throwing it and she was so nasty to her on the boat the last time she saw her, and she admits that she wasn't happy the way she behaved on the boat. Like her behavior was,
I mean, that was definitely the alcohol talk.
yeah, definitely was. And then we see Marisol and Julia are talking, and she's saying that she also invited Adriana to the party, to the preppy lunch. And Marisol said that she's coming after my physical appearance and body shaming me. Like, and I agree. Like, that's the whole thing with, Adriana. It's like, it's one thing to throw shade, but, someone's physical appearance, like, you can't help that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when people
especially
attack
her knees. I mean, for crying out loud, like.
Yeah. And she also said, which I don't know. I mean, she said Adriana's older than she is, which that
she
must
was a
be.
little surprising.
Yeah,
But,
I didn't look it up.
If any of the Miami cast are asked who has had the best work done, everybody says Adriana.
Yes.
So she must be older, but just looks really good.
Yes. Yeah,
that was surprising that Marisol just has an older soul, I feel like.
I think so too. And it's not like she looks older, but I think it's again the conservative dress, the way she carries herself. Yeah. I think that I agree with that. And Lisa's telling Adriana that she doesn't like that Julia is forming like a group with the Marisol and Alexia, that she feels like she's like those two are on the outside now. Like she feels like they're like doing a Mean Girls group.
They are.
It's what they're doing. I mean, it is what
they're doing. It's very clear.
Then Marisol asks Julia like what she's going to do to move forward with Gurdy, and Julia said that the ship has sailed. Like we can just be cordial. So she's not going to do anything.
That was Julia.
Yes, Julia said that about Gurdy. And then they're talking about, like, now what do we do? Like, now we have this thing with Alexia and Stephanie going on, like the whole, those 2 are not getting along, the Rottweiler
Yeah, there are a lot
Chihuahua.
of rifts in this
There
crew.
really are. Yeah. Julia's telling Marisol that, they gotta get Alexia out of Miami and so that she'll stop thinking about Todd. But when they invite her, the first thing she says is, "I gotta be back for Todd."
For his birthday.
Yeah. So, it just blows my mind. She's gotta be back by November 17th because it's Todd's birthday on November 18th. I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me," right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Then we see Gurdy's on the phone with Dr. Jackie from Married to
Yeah.
Medicine. She calls her for some advice about, how cancer's affecting her with her intimacy. I really like
Now,
Dr.
did
Jackie.
I know she's a doctor, but did she have breast cancer as well? Is that why she called her? Or just
Uh,
because she's a doctor and
if I'm not mistaken, she's a gynecologist.
okay,
I think
so
she's an
she'd be
OBGYN.
this
Yeah, I
is in
think
her wheelhouse.
yes, yes. I'm almost positive she's an OBGYN.
I never watched Married to Medicine, so I don't know much about Dr. Jackie.
I watched it a couple times. I've never watched a whole season, but I have watched a few episodes. And out of all of them, I like Dr. Jackie the best.
She seems like the most chill.
She's not as vicious and
Yeah,
mean, I don't
dramatic.
think. Yeah, yeah. And she's also Dr. Jackie's telling, Gurdy that it's amazing what she's doing, with her platform and letting people know and, giving back. She asks her for advice about handling her friends, and Dr. Jackie says, "Listen, just tell them thank you. Like, just say thank you to your friends. Like, you know what? Don't get into it with them." I think this was good advice for Gurdy. It's basically just, you know what? You are bigger than this. Just say thank you and move on, right? Don't try and don't try and figure it out.
Right.
So then we see Masood and Stephanie. They're going out to eat with Julia and Martina. Now we know that when Stephanie met Julia, the first thing she said is Masood is in love with
My
Martina, and
husband loves you.
yes, that's the only woman that he's allowed to love besides her. So it was just a matter of time before we saw those two interact with each other, right? Stephanie asks, I thought this was so bold of her. How old are you going to be when they turn 20?
I was like,
I'm Martina said, "Well, I'm 68." And Stephanie said, "Oh, well, I'm turning 40." And Julia actually got Martina's age wrong. I think she was making her older. I think she said you're 69 and Martina's like, "No, I'm 68."
yeah, she did.
And then we find out that Masood said that when he had watched, he's talking to Martina about when he watched her at Wimbledon when she was playing against Chris. He asked her like, "Don't you miss it?" And she's like, "Well, if I could still play, but I don't miss the stress." Like she likes
Yeah.
playing. And he talks about how
How
great.
great did she look though in those pictures when they flashed back? And
Yeah,
he
she
said
was in
the
great
first thing
shape.
I noticed about you were your arms, and her
Right.
arms were ripped.
Yeah, I
Like those
mean,
flashback pictures were great of her.
yeah, they were. And she said that's what Julia fell in love with. She said was her arms.
Yeah.
So we know that Julia has a brother. I didn't realize he's 12 years younger than her and he lives in Moscow.
Yeah. So remember when the case manager came and said, "Where's the male
Yes, and
influence
she
coming
said
from?" And she said, "My brother." Well, how's that going to work if he's
right.
in Moscow?
I know, I thought about that too.
Yeah.
So then Stephanie brings up about her twin sisters, how they don't speak to each other. She's like, they just don't speak the same language. Then Julia goes on to say that she's having a hard time with her, she said, with our oldest daughters, but they're Julia's daughters, you
Yeah,
know?
I don't understand this. We need more to this story. Why would your daughters just cut off communication with you because you chose to adopt 2 younger boys?
I think, listen, I can kind of I don't know the cutting off communication, but I feel like, Martina's 68 years old. You know, who's going to be taking care of these kids? You know what I'm saying? Like I would think it would fall to them if something happens to the parents, right? They're
Well,
the
yeah,
next,
that's true, yeah.
right? So I would feel like if my parents were to make a decision like that and not include me in something that is very possible to affect my life,
Right.
I would feel slighted, I would have a problem with that.
How old is Julia? Do we even know?
We don't know how old she is. We don't. I mean, we could obviously Google it.
I mean, what she could be or probably her early 50s, no? If
Mm,
that?
I don't know. We should look that up. So then Martina says, it's sad about what's going on with the girls because right now they're not really communicating. And she's like, you can never get the time back. Like all this time right now that they're not communicating is wasted time. And it's totally true.
It is true. She's 53.
She's 53.
Yeah.
Okay. So Stephanie advises Julia that she, nips it in the, bud right now because 1 year turns into 2 years. And then, at some point it's too far, like she is with her sisters. It's true. I think that they should really kind of have a sit down and resolve it.
Yeah. Did you see the old Real Housewife of Miami, Anna? She has a podcast
Well, I think I sent the clip to you.
of her talking about Masood and Stephanie.
Yes, about the money.
Yeah. Okay. So Okay. So
Yeah.
you did send that. I didn't know if I just saw it on Instagram, but yeah, she's basically saying that he's just, borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. And she kind of made it seem to keep up with Stephanie's lifestyle.
Yes, that's exactly how she made it seem. And I guess
Right?
we're going to have to wait and see because
Yeah.
it should be like this was filmed last year, right? So it should be coming out soon if there's, these financial problems, the housewarming she talked about with the house. I didn't listen to the whole podcast. I just saw that clip that I sent you.
Yeah. But
I
Anna
should.
said, like, that was a year ago and the house still isn't done.
Right.
I mean, that house is enormous. I don't even know if it could be done in a year,
Right. Right.
but it's
I mean,
interesting.
yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting.
And she would know. I mean, she still lives there, right?
And she's an attorney. I mean, she's an attorney.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I kind of trust the words she says, to be honest
Me
with
too,
you.
because she's not going to go on there and say something not factual and then be accused of slander or, whatever.
And I think all she was doing is giving us information that are in court documents. So, it's not like she's making stuff up. It's not like it's a
Right.
rumor. So Marisol had the idea that they could take the girls, to Seville, Spain. Martina's like, oh, I would like to go, when she is telling Stephanie. And she's like, no, you have to stay and babysit the boys. And then Stephanie says, well, I'm gonna take my private plane. And Martina's like, oh, I want to go. Like, again, she says it, I want to go. And she says to Julia, I want you to come with me on my private plane. And Stephanie asked, well, who else, like, did you invite? Like, who else is going on this trip? And she said, well, we're going to Spain for Alexia to get Todd off, to get Todd off of her mind, right? With everything that's going along. She's like, but everyone's really not getting along. But we want everyone just to get along to go on this trip. Stephanie's like, well, I'm really new to this group and I feel like everyone welcomed me except for Alexia. And I agree with that.
Totally agree.
Yeah. She feels
Even Marisol did.
Yes.
Which they're normally, two peas in a pod with that stuff. But
Alexia made her feel unwelcome. And Julia says, Stephanie says to Julia, you can't keep making excuses for her. And Julia's like, I'm not. Julia says, I know your personality and I know Alexia 100% sure that you guys just need to have a conversation. I'm like, I don't think so, Julia. I don't think
no,
it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. She came in hot with the stuff about Todd and just like her Alexia's counterpart in New Jersey. That's it.
Right.
It's done. It's a done
Yep.
deal. No matter what you do now, it's done. Because that's basically what Adriana did. She started saying things about Alexia's marriage. And I mean, she started saying stuff about Marisol's ex too. But there's no door opening there either.
No, I don't think that there is. So then they say cheers to a fabulous flight and everyone coming back all hunky dory. I just like the throwback to hunky dory and Kathy Hilton.
It would have been great if somebody was like, who's hunky dory?
I know. So you see Marisol, she's getting ready for her preppy party. She, we knew she invited Adriana. That Julia says she really wants her to go to Spain and she's hoping that ketamine Adriana shows up.
That was a little wild that she
I
said
thought
that.
so too, right?
I mean, that's a bold implication right there.
It sure is. I was very surprised that she said that. I was like,
I mean, some people do take that to treat depression, but still,
I know.
Just say that on TV about somebody.
I agree.
Something like that.
So you see her getting ready for the party. The reason for Marisol's preppy theme party is that her father was from Connecticut and he was very waspy. And he sent her off to boarding school in Palm Beach. And she's dying to see what the ladies pull out for preppy. I am all here for this. I love a preppy party.
I thought it was adorable. It should have been called a clueless party because I think they all were like trying to, a lot of them were clueless. Yes. But I thought that was interesting to find out that Marisol's father was a preppy guy from Connecticut because, her mom was so eccentric and, Cuban.
Exactly.
So that was interesting.
I thought so too. And then Alexia, she's like, she doesn't feel like Miami is a preppy. It's like not a thing here.
Probably not.
No, I mean, listen.
But you could
Not
put
where
your boobs away for one party, Alexia. It'll be all right.
Yep.
We still know you have them. We
Yep.
still know they're large.
Yes, exactly. So then Marisol tells Alexia that she had Kiki there yesterday and she said something very weird.
Kiki, dude.
She said, I spoke to Gurdy and she said that you guys have your relationship feels like a cult. Kiki said, what does a cult mean? Because of course Kiki doesn't know what a cult means, right?
It's a language barrier.
I know.
For
It
sure.
is. It is. It totally is. Alexia's like, I don't like that. Of course she's not going to like it. So why would you tell her that? Like, that's not going to make anything any better.
I'm starting to think that Kiki is pulling out all the stops to try to get a full-time position. And now I'm starting to think, was Kiki the one that hired the private investigator to follow Nicole and her husband?
No, I can't imagine Kiki doing that.
I hope not, but I feel like Kiki is really stirring the pot.
I agree.
And she's hanging out with Larsa, and Larsa's probably like, yeah, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. So then the next person to show up is Gurdy, and she shows up with this big box, and Marisol's like, what? Like, what is this? She's like, oh, it's your wedding gift. And it's some like bar cocktail maker thing. And she's like, all right, well, okay. Marisol's like, oh, I wanted that. I saw it on Instagram. But then and she also brought the gift bags from her party because people left early.
That's right.
She brought the gift bags. And in her confessional, she's like, I think that was a regift from Lisa. I think Lisa gave her that.
Did you see Gurdy's clapback on social media with the receipt?
About the regift? No, I did not.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it
Gurdy
wasn't
proved. Gurdy's not a regifter, Marisol. Stop it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, she put a post up showing the receipt. I did not regift.
That's so funny. Marisol tells her about the trip to to distract Alexia. And do you feel comfortable coming? Because Kiki said to me that like you felt like we were a cult. And Gurdy said, well, I was very hurt and I was trying to talk to everyone and no one wants to listen to me and everyone has Julia's back. Alexia said, well, you know what? I find that offensive and we need to be careful about the things. Like, again, now she's like scolding her. We need to be careful
Right.
about the things that we,
Like
we
holier
call each
than
other.
thou.
Right. And the things that we say. Alexia's like, we are not a cult. And you even, like, why would you even want to be a part of this friend group? And now Gertie's crying. And she says, I just want to vibe.
Alexia said that, right?
Yeah.
Do you even want to be in this friend group?
Right.
It's not for you to decide, Alexia.
Right. I know.
She's getting that. She's getting there where she thinks it's her show.
But yeah, she definitely is. She definitely is. And Gertie's crying. She's like, I just want to vibe. I mean, my motto is keep it simple, stupid. And I was like, I am so team Gurdy on this. I really am.
Me too. And it's surprising on social media how many people are not team Gurdy on this.
I agree. It is surprising.
Yeah.
Next, Larsa shows up in what I call not a preppy outfit.
She's going to be the Dory.
No.
She's not going to.
No,
she's follow.
She's like, well, I'm not preppy. And Stephanie's like, well, this is the least amount of your boobs I've seen. So, that's good. And then Larsa in her confessional, she said she feels like Marisol and Stephanie dress like they're in their 90s, like her grandmother dresses.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, just because they're conservative, you have to. Adriana thanks Marisol for inviting her and apologizes for the things that she said. She was pretty drunk. Marisol said, listen, the liquor brings out the truth.
That's what I don't like, though. She's apologizing to you. She's taking accountability for what she did. She's acknowledging that she was wrong. She's apologizing to you. Don't give her some snide ass remark. Say, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Right. Well, she says, I think it brings out the truth. And Adriana said, well, I feel the same way when you say mean things to me. Like you say, go F yourself, So she stood up for herself. Marisol said, can you just lay off me? We have a bigger problems with this group. Like we need to make sure that, Alexia and Stephanie, I feel like we can maybe help them try and get back together. And she's like, all right, I'm good with that.
See, this is what's annoying about Marisol. Every time Adriana walks in a room, she's like, oh, here we go. Here we go. She's going to come at me. She's going to do this. She's going to do this. Why can't she just let off me? But then Gurdy brings you a nice present. And in your confessional, you say that she regifted it. Like, no, Marisol, maybe they're not going to stop going at you because you're shading them every time you get a chance. Marisol thinks she's funny. but it's
Right.
not funny.
It's
It's
not
mean.
funny. It's not funny. Adriana says, let's cheers. And Marisol and I, made peace. And Lars is like, how long do you think that's going to last? Come on. Lisa is the last one to show up, as usual, because Lisa is always the last one to show up. And her inspiration was Wednesday meets Clueless. And I think she nailed that. I mean, the
Nailed
Wednesday
it.
meets Clueless. She nailed Preppy, not so much.
With stripper shoes.
With stripper shoes. Yep.
Yes, nailed it.
So then they go outside on her patio. Marisol's house, and people have mentioned this, it is tiny. Like, she literally lives in this little cottage, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
adorable.
I wonder, though, because obviously she's got a lot of money, Marisol, but I wonder if it's like that's where she films. Like, maybe that's like a little cottage that's in on a property with a bigger house, and she really lives in the house, and that's where she films. I've thought about that. I mean, I think it's adorable. I have a small house, so I
I do
love it.
too. No, I do too. I mean,
But,
it's only the two of them. So, I mean, what do they need? Do they need
exactly.
They don't need anything bigger than that. But I do think and like I said, I think it's adorable. It's just very tiny for these women. That's all.
And for her wealth, like, she's obviously wealthy, Marisol, I believe, right? I mean,
And yeah, and the fact that she hosts them there. Like, this isn't, she's hosted them there before, right?
right. Yeah.
So they go outside and, the table looks
Because when
beautiful.
Alexia came in and pulled that curtain, the kitchen was small.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was almost like a galley kitchen.
It was. And Marisol's like, this is like you're pulling,
This is the staging area.
Right. You're not supposed to pull that curtain. People are not supposed to see what's behind the curtain.
It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. But they have she has the little straw bags with their names sewn in them. I thought was so sweet.
Yeah, that was.
She said that she wanted the reason she tells them why she wanted to have this party. Like, she wanted them to know a little bit about her roots because, everyone knows her as her mother's daughter, but she went to Boston College and she went to boarding school. And then Adriana says, well, can I give you a clinical aspect to all this? And Marisol said, a Harvard, in quotation, clinical aspect, because Adrian's wearing the Harvard shirt.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, this is what Adriana says. So when you were conceived, your chromosomes are crossed. If you're a girl, you get your chromosomes from your dad. The similarities you have from your dad are greater than you think. First of all, I didn't look that up, but I'm sure that's true. Like, I do believe that Adriana is pretty smart.
I do think she is very smart. Yeah.
Right? And she really is going to Harvard. I mean, I was surprised because she was on Watch What Happens Live that Andy did not ask her, because she said that she was graduating in the spring and it's now summer. So she should have graduated.
Yeah.
Maybe at the reunion it'll come up because she was getting her master's in psychology. But, none of the ladies even like asked her about it. They just shaded her in their confessionals, which I just said to myself, are you kidding me? Like, what is wrong with these women? Julia.
No, yeah, they're not supportive of her at all. They don't treat her well at all.
They really don't. They really don't. And honestly, it used to be the only one that did was Julia. And now.
And Gurdy, yeah.
Yeah.
And Nicole. Like, they kind of had a.
Yes.
It was the four of them that were.
Yes.
Yeah. So now Julia's, in the cool girl clique.
And Nicole's
and
not there.
Gurdy.
Right.
Yeah, Nicole's not there. So she does have Gurdy, thankfully, but.
Yeah. So Julia is wearing Martina's Wimbledon sweater. Marisol also said we need to stick to the root and not the fluff on top. This is where the problem lies. So Gurdy then says to Julie, like, do you want to talk? And she pulls her aside to go talk, which I was glad to see. Like, can we just get this over with? Gurdy says to Julie, like, I'm not really like understanding like why it is we're so far apart. I thought we had an understanding to move forward. When we went to the Grecian party, you betrayed me. You asked Daniel, why would you do that? We said we weren't going to speak of it again.
Especially in front of the group. Like they
Exactly.
said, it was just going to be between them.
Right. And then Julia says, I'm sorry. That absolutely was not my intention. Like, I mean, like, I thought because he was a life coach, like, he could actually help. Like, it wasn't to hurt. When she said it then, I actually kind of believed that that's what her intention was. When I heard it, I thought it was on Watch What Happens Live, that's why initially I thought she's just making this up. But I do think that, listen, I don't think Julia's all that bright, to be quite honest with you.
No.
I don't. And I do think that, she was like, oh, well, this guy, like, maybe he can help. I don't think she had malicious intent the way Adriana took it. I don't think she's, like I said, I don't think she's that bright.
I don't think she had malicious intent, but I do think she was trying to have a moment on the
Mm.
show.
I mean, that could be.
She probably didn't think it was gonna, warrant Gurdy showing those text messages,
Mhm.
but whatever.
Well,
You
Gurdy
threw
said
water on her, you threw a drink on her, like,
right.
the text messages are nothing compared to that, in my personal opinion.
No, I totally agree. I agree.
And the text messages didn't show, like, it wasn't like, you know, like showing one friend a text message from another friend speaking poorly about that
No.
friend. Like,
No.
all she was doing was proving that, listen, I didn't ask you to join you. You
Right.
asked me to join you, and I said yes as a friend.
Yes,
That's all
exactly.
they said.
That's all it was, exactly. Gurdy then apologized. She said, "I'm sorry, I didn't, that I did that. I don't wanna be that person." And she's crying. She's like, I felt cornered, like, nobody would even listen to me. You know, nobody would even listen to what I had to say."
And she's right, because she tried to sit down with Alexia, and Alexia shut her down.
Mhm. So they agreed that they're gonna move forward, right? They both agree, and then they hug. But, I mean, we know for a fact that they're still not talking, so unless something happens at the reunion, but as of, this last week's episode, they hadn't filmed the reunion yet. It was coming up, I think, a day or so after this. They were
Yeah.
gonna be filming it. So, then at Marisol, Stephanie's offering her plane to fly to Marabella. So because whose idea was it to go to Marabella? It's a 3-hour drive away once they
I
get
think that was
to
Stephanie's idea.
was it
When
Stephanie's?
we found out they were going to what's the city we're
Seville.
going to? Seville.
Seville. So they were go
I
but
think
I
she's
thought
the one that said she had friends. She has friends.
Oh, Stephanie's the one who has friends in Marabella. Okay. So she's offering to fly them because it's a 3-hour drive. So she's offering to fly them and on her plane to Marabella.
And that trip, everyone can go on the plane
Right. So
because it's
then
short.
right. So then they're like, are you flying with us from Miami? And she's like, no, I'm going to be taking my plane from Miami to Seville. She's like, I'd like nothing more than to take you all. But unfortunately, since it's a very long flight, I can't take everybody. She's like, I can only give 3 other girls plus herself but she's going to take them all to the Maravella.
So Larsa's obviously gonna be on the
Right.
PJ going from Miami to Seville because they're
Right. They're
buddies.
friends. Right. And she'd already invited Julia when she was out with Martina.
Right.
And then she invited Marisol.
Marisol.
And when we saw the invite, Marisol's like, "Well, we're doing this trip for Alexia. Like, I can't leave my." And honestly, it was very nice of her.
I thought it
It
was
was
very sweet.
it was very nice of Marisol. It
She wouldn't do it
really
for anybody else, but that's okay.
No, that's okay, right? I thought that was very nice of her. She's like, "No, that's okay." So then she's like, Stephanie pulls Alexia aside and she's like, "I want things between us to be cordial." But Alexia said, "Well, you said that I bark and I'm a dog." And she's like, "I'm not a dog." She's like, "I did say you were like a chihuahua and I'm a Rottweiler, but I didn't want you to keep saying that. Like, I'm not a dog."
You said it, Alexia.
Right.
You said it.
Then Stephanie said to her, "I feel like you belittle people, like with symbolism. I'm the big one and you're the effing chihuahua," which I agree with.
Totally. Totally.
She said, "You try very hard to be that I'm the queen and you are the chihuahua," right there and pointing to the ground. Stephanie said, it's not going to go well if you continue to belittle me." I like that she stood up to her. Lexi said, "I'm sorry that you feel that way. If I offended you, I'm sorry." Stephanie said, "Well, as an olive branch, I have one seat left on my plane and I had offered it to Marisol. And Marisol said that she couldn't fly on the plane unless you were gonna come, so she declined it." She's like, "Would you like that seat?" Alexia's response, she's like I mean, I feel like she wanted to say, "Yeah, I want that seat," but then she's like, "Wait, is this a trick question?
I know.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, you told me you offered it to Marisol and she's not taking it because I can't go, and now you're offering it to me, like, is this a trick?" Like,
Yeah.
seriously, I really felt like she just
Could you imagine if she was like, "Yeah, I'll take it."
Yeah. And I feel like her initial reaction was gonna be like, "Yeah, I'll take it," but then it just in a split second, she's like, "Wait a second, I think this is a trick."
Yeah.
Like, in her
Yeah.
head. So, Alexia's like, "No, no, no, I can't leave, Marisol." She goes, I can't leave Marisol. She's my best friend, but she's really little, maybe we could share a seat."
They are so tiny, but I guess it's like the luggage and stuff that matters.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think, 1, it's something to cause drama,
Right.
and
True.
2, they want to film on the plane, but you know what? So
Leave room for the cameras.
they have to leave room for the crew and the cameras.
Yeah.
So now they're
Yeah.
filming on 2 planes. But how are they gonna do that for the short trip? Because 'Cause they're gonna have to do it then, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's
maybe
for drama. I think
maybe
it's a
they're just
production
not.
thing.
Yeah,
I think
you're right, you're
I
right.
think it's just a production thing, right?
So who winds up taking the 3rd seat?
So, okay, so then Alexia says, "Thank you." Stephanie says, "Alright, I have one more person I can invite on the PJ." She announces to the group. This was a private conversation. She announces to the group, she's like, "I'm really close with Kiki, but I haven't really gotten a chance to know Adriana, so, I don't know what to do." And Kiki's like, "You know what? I'm gonna make this easy for you. Why don't you invite Adriana, and that way you can get to know her?" Which I honestly thought, again, was very nice.
Me too. Me too.
Right? So, Adriana, of course, is excited. She's like, what I really admire about Marisol is that she wouldn't get on that plane without Alexia. And, but Julia didn't say anything about me when she was invited. Now, the thing is, Julia was invited in a different situation. And I don't know that, I mean, when we saw it, she didn't say, I'm only inviting a few women to her.
Right.
Right?
And listen, I'm sorry, but if you get the chance to go on a private jet, go on the private jet. I mean, what Marisol did was very nice, but I don't think it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
your
really,
best friend should get over it.
really, what Adriana was saying was not so much that Julia didn't, is that I wish that I had that kind of friendship like Marisol and Alexia have. Like, that's really the message.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Alexia and Marisol are hugging and crying, and Marisol says, "Alexia, this whole trip is about you." I didn't take too many notes on Watch What Happens Live. So Adriana was on it with Lonnie Love.
Oh, I didn't watch that. Because I keep watching it on Peacock now. And then
Yeah.
Watch What Happens Live doesn't come on
Come
right
on after
after.
it. Yeah, so Andy starts out with, "It was good to see you and Marisol make up." One of the things he did that I did come out, I didn't write it down, but there was he does all those questions. And one of the questions was, who do you think is of the cast is least likely to be able to get into Harvard or something like that? And Adriana answered it with probably the one who doesn't have a high school diploma. And Andy's like, "Well, who is that?" She's like, "Well, you'll find out at the reunion." He's like, "Well, who?" And she's like, "The initial is Y." She wouldn't say who. She said, "You'll find out at the reunion." I
Who's
think it's
why?
Julia because I don't think that's her real name. I think her real name is some Russian name that starts with a Y. And I
And
believe it's
listen,
Julia.
it does make sense though, because she was a model at a young age. So she
Right.
probably left school to go become a model. And listen, it didn't hurt her, Adriana. She's married to Martina.
Right. I just think
But
that
that's interesting.
I think that that's what's gonna come out at the reunion. And listen,
Okay. So they must talk about the Harvard thing.
they must. They must.
Because
I
why
hope.
else would their conversation get there?
Well, I mean, that's a reason for it to get there, right? And
Yeah.
again, this is something that Adriana brought up on Watch What Happens Live.
Right.
So that's all I have for those notes. But I do have the reunion seating chart came out, and I posted it on our social media, and I asked people like what their thoughts were, and pretty much. So on one side of Andy is Stephanie, and on the other side is Alexia, and that's what everyone's big question was: what happens with Stephanie that she gets first seat, her first reunion?
I do feel like it should have been Julia and Gurdy. I feel like most of the season, at least so far, has been based around Julia and Gurdy's beef and the water being thrown and the text messages being shown. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think, and again, this is only episode 9. So that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Maybe something happens on this trip that, we really, because so the first 2 seats are those. The next 2, next to Stephanie is Lisa, and next to Alexia is Larsa. So Lisa and Larsa are across from each other. Then next to Lisa is Gurdy, and across from Gurdy on the other side is Julia. And then the very last seat is Adriana, and across from her is Marisol. And then, Kiki's the last spot as a
It's
friend of.
interesting, this is the only franchise where the friends are out at the reunion for the entire reunion.
Well, I don't know that she will be out for the entire reunion, to be honest with you. I mean, this is the seating chart. I
But
don't know that she'll.
typically, Adriana and Marisol are out, aren't they? The entire reunions? I don't know about Kiki, but Adriana and Marisol are. Maybe because they used to be former full-time housewives?
Or maybe because it's such a small cast.
Yeah.
There'd only be, I mean, I guess it's not that small. There'd be 6 full time. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know.
know.
We're gonna have to wait and see. But everyone's reaction was the same as mine. Like, what is Stephanie doing in the first chair, her first reunion? I mean, I think that that's pretty much unheard of right now
I
in
believe
any
so,
in
yeah.
any of these seasons that we've seen where, someone's their first season. But it does really tell you that she's gonna be back a second season,
For sure. She did that
right?
commercial with Melissa Gorga. As soon as I saw her on that commercial, I'm like, "Oh, she's coming back."
Yeah. So,
They're not gonna throw you in a commercial like that.
yeah. No, absolutely. I definitely think she's coming back. I'm curious to
Speaking of
see.
which, we'll get right back to Miami, but did you see the clip that somebody put up on Instagram at Coney Island when they played the Maynotties, the baseball game, where a fan asked Joe Gorga something and he goes, "We're back. We're back."
I saw that. I did see that clip, but you know what? Joe's an idiot. I mean,
He's an idiot. Why would he do that?
I love Joe, and Melissa will say it. Like, sometimes he says things he's not supposed to say,
Why would you
and
say that?
I know.
Even if it's true.
Yeah,
Andy's going to be pissed and he likes you, Joe.
I did see that. I did see
Oh,
that.
I was so disappointed when I saw that. I'm like, stop. And then he's like, don't say anything. She's got you on camera.
Right. Everyone's gonna see this, Joe, and Melissa doesn't have the podcast anymore for you to explain it. So now
That's
what are you gonna
right.
do?
That's
I mean,
right.
you can get on Instagram and explain it yourself, but Melissa
Yeah.
probably won't let you.
I could not believe that. But okay. All right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, that
That
was
was
it. I mean,
sidebar.
I don't have anything else. Speaking of that baseball game though, Margaret couldn't make it because her dog. Did you see what happened with her dog?
No, because Dolores said on 2Ts that Margaret was going to be there.
Well, she was supposed to be there, but the day of the baseball game, her dog got very, very sick, and she had to rush the dog to the hospital. And they weren't sure the dog was going to make it. But I think the dog is going to be okay. Like, the dog has some kind of condition. Don't quote me on it because I don't know dog conditions. But it is treatable. But she wasn't able to make it. I mean, she obviously had planned on going, but
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah. I just finished Margaret's book, Caviar Dreams Tuna Fish Budget. Did I drop it
Okay.
off at the library? I did on my way into work today.
And how was it?
So good.
Really?
So good. Like,
Tell me a little bit about it.
so it just explains how she grew up with Marge Sr., who, wasn't the most responsible,
Right.
liked to party, the whole thing we kind of already knew.
Right.
How she got into the fashion industry, like how she got into, not fashion industry, I'm sorry. Jan, her ex, was in like a textile industry, I believe. That was his family business. So
Oh,
she
okay.
was familiar with it. And then she and her friend just at her kitchen table put these like personalized buckets together or something and went and like shopped them around at like small boutiques. And basically that's what started her business.
Her.
So she talks about that. She talks about how she met Jan, what their marriage was like. She really was a mother to his children.
Mm-hmm.
His ex, I believe, moved to Florida, or I don't know. I could be wrong with that, but they did not. They lived with Margaret and Jan full time. And although Jan was a great provider, he just wasn't the best husband. He wasn't the husband that she wanted. She tells the story of how she met the lead singer of Foreigner, who she had always had a crush on, met him out, had sex with him. The lead singer of Foreigner. I thought that was great. I mean, I feel bad saying that because she did cheat on her husband with him, but and then she tells you how she met Joe, like he really was the contractor and, but she wasn't happy in her marriage.
Right. Right.
And Jan wasn't making any changes to make that any better. So, we've said this about the people in the valley, Brittany and Michelle, like if you're not giving your wife or your spouse what they need,
They're gonna go elsewhere.
they're going to look elsewhere. So she talks about that, and very good book. Goes into how she was being sued. At the time she wrote this, she was on good terms basically with everybody. Like there is a picture in there with her and Jenny.
Really?
Yeah, so she was fine with Teresa at this point, So it ends like I guess within her first couple of seasons of Jersey. But she's like, if Margaret isn't asked to come back, and I hope she is because I personally like her, she's going to be fine. She's doing fine, Margaret.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that she is. I think that she is doing fine.
It was a good book though. It was very interesting, especially the stuff about Marge Sr.
Good for her. Good for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't have anything else for Miami. So until next time, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Bye.
Bye.